Welcome to the Getting Into Good Trouble podcast, where we make it our mission to challenge, question, and inspire you to do the same.
In this episode, we'll try and shine light on what living in Ukraine is like during the war. We'll be deep diving into what it's like in Ukraine by interviewing Mariya Lederer and Tettayana Smith.
Since February 20th, 2014, Ukraine has experienced uncountable hardships. From the loss of family members, homes, and even hope, the Ukrainian people all have quite the story to tell.
This episode has interviews, personal stories, and underground information that helps uncover the violent truth. Our first interview will be with Tettayana, a Ukrainian woman who moved here in 2002. So when did you live in Ukraine?
I did live in Ukraine. I come to United States in 2002.
Oh, okay. Is there any significant differences you've noticed living in Ukraine versus living in America?
A lot. For you to know what you probably don't know, you was born here. You live in a very wealthy country. Everything in US big, like literally big buildings, big cars, big people, some of them. I never saw that big people in my life than I saw here. But usually everything big, like just buildings, roads big. Everything. Ukraine doesn't have that much big things, anything. Bridges big. We don't have highways, roads big, very big. People different. I do believe, I met in US a lot of good people, kind people. So that was, and what was shocking to me that I come, how many people believe God. That was wonderfully shocking because then I grew up. I've been told what you ask is capitalist. They don't believe in God. They're abusing people. They told us all lies. So then I come here and says, that's not true. People are kind. People are beautiful. They're so helpful. So that is very big difference. And size of the country, of course, Ukraine is probably right now 30 million. And US, 380 million people. It's a huge difference in size as well.
Oh, that's very interesting. Wow, I didn't know it was that different.
One of my questions was, are you still in contact with any of the people that you know are in Ukraine or any family members, or is there a certain way you contact them?
Sure. I have a brother in Ukraine right now with who I talk pretty often. And as of today, I was talking with my friend who I went to college. So I talking to her often. And then I talking to a few people who I went to school together. So yes, I do talk with quite a bit of people. Not a lot, but quite a bit.
Okay,
Do you just message them, just regular?
Facebook, and I call them too sometimes. So just with you, Zoom, I do with them through Facebook.
Okay, that's really interesting. Do you think that you will ever move back to Ukraine, or do you see that as a potential in your future?
No, never. Okay. I left there because I won't leave. And that was a long time. And my kids, I have 3 kids. They born here. I'm more American now than I'm Ukrainian. I pretty much live more my adult life in this country than I was there.
Yeah.
Why did you leave there in the first place?
Because I was done with them. I was tired of them. Here's what thing was, I was looking for something what I wasn't able to find. And now I know what I was looking for God. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't able to find God there. I wasn't able to learn about God. So then doors was open to me, come Ukraine, here. I move in. It doesn't take me long to make decisions. If I see a door open and I want to walk through it, I did. And I found everything I'm looking for here. I found my family. I found God and faith, everything here.
That's so beautiful. Everything. How have you handled the change to America and leaving your home?
I love change.
You love change.
For me, people think change is something bad. I love change. I hate comfort. I hate no change. I love change. because every time you have change, you're learning something new. You're pushing yourself through the limit and you see what you're made of. So I didn't miss home. I ran away from home. I was Happy to be here, even it was challenging, but everything worked out great because of grace of God. All glory to Him, no question.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. What do you think was like the most valuable lesson you've learned during the experience of the war happening there and everything?
War now?
Yeah.
Because war started 3 years ago. Actually, it will be 3 years in February 20th, by the way. 3 years, but very close. Uh, you see, what maybe that will be interesting to World War. I don't know. I'm not there. There, it's sad what I see.
Yeah.
You see, I saw wars on TV. I saw wars in movies, and now war in this country, where I grew up, and it's sad because millions of people dead already. Kids, women, it's bad. But I did not come back in Ukraine often. Like I did not go back to Ukraine since 2005. I have this feeling what something will happen. I don't know what was that, and I wasn't able to come back to my family, to my kids. Now I know what was it, because if I'm in Ukraine visiting during the war, I will be drafted, because in Ukraine, then you nurse, a doctor, what I was both. I'm military bounded. I was a surgeon. So if I'm there, I will be at the war, and I will be saving life, or I will be killed by now. I don't even know. I'm not sure which one. So war is sad.
Did you know anyone in the war?
My brother in the war, he on front line all these 3 years. I talking to him, and now he's in hospital. He has concussion. He is in the war right now, and I know a few classmates who in the war right now who I talking to sometimes. I have several people in the war who I know personally. Yes, my brother, the main person in the war.
That's crazy. Is there anything you miss about Ukraine?
Food, холодец, but I can make it here.
Yeah.
Food, I like food. I like, you get stuffed cabbage is halupsi. You can spell whatever you want. I miss halupsi. I miss холодец. You can spell whatever you want, and they will have no clue what it is. But I can make it here if I want to. So, did I miss something, Ukraine? I don't really think so. No, really.
All right, that's really nice. Yeah. I think I think that's all of our questions. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, ladies. I hope I help you.
You
Thank
did.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Have a nice day.
Wonderful.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye, girls.
All right, hi, Miss Lederer. Good to see you today.
Oh, thank you.
So we're just going to be asking you a few questions about topics related to the Ukrainian war.
Sure.
Carter, would you like to start?
Yeah, of course. So how long ago did you kind of move to the U.S.?
I moved to the United States about 20 years ago, so long before the war.
Yeah.
So when the first Russian invasion occurred in 2014,
Yeah.
when they occupied Crimea, so that's what it was about 10 years ago, I've already been in the United States. So obviously when the war started in 2022, I've been in Ukraine in the States for a long time.
Yeah. And how was that transition kind of from Ukraine to the U.S.?
Oh, that was very challenging because when I came to the United States, I didn't speak any English. So, and I had to learn English fast. And it's kind of very difficult to live in a country and you do not speak the language. So I had to find a tutor, and she was a college student. So I was tutoring her in calculus and she was tutoring me in English. So step by step, I kind of learn and, start teaching in about a year and a half. I started teaching back in Connecticut. That's where I moved first.
What was the main reason that you moved from Ukraine to America?
Oh, that's a great question. The reason I moved, I just wanted to change. Ukraine back then had a very difficult kind of economical reasons to seek better life. Like a lot of immigrants, I wanted to pursue my dream and I wanted to teach. But in Ukraine, you cannot really make any living if you're a teacher, you know. So I had to seek other opportunities to move. Luckily, my husband was an American, so that's kind of thing helped. So I moved. So instead of him moving to Ukraine, I moved to the United States. So that was kind of big help for me.
What was the biggest change that you've noticed from Ukraine here?
From Ukraine here. Well, there is what I was very much inspired by that pretty much in the United States, if you put your mind into something, you can achieve that. Like really, really believe in some dream. And I found it really has some substance to that. That's not just empty words. You really can. You become a teacher, you can teach things. I was teaching before Mount Vernon, I was teaching in public school for economically disadvantaged kids, and I saw how much they try to pursue their dreams because they knew a lot of members of the family didn't go to college, but they went to, okay, education is the only way out, and how much they work hard. So there's a lot of inspirational stories that show me that kind of the way why a lot of immigrants attracted to move to the United States.
Yeah.
Because of that.
So do you have any like distant family still in Ukraine, and do you kind of connect with them often?
Oh, that's a great question. My mom passed away about 10 years ago, but my dad had to move from Ukraine to Russia to be close with my brother. Because my brother never left Russia. I was born in Russia and then we moved to Ukraine when I was in my teens. But my older brother, never moved to Ukraine. So my dad, when he got older, had to move back to Russia. So what I'm having right now, I have my kind of friends in Ukraine who struggle with the war, but my close family lives in Russia. So there is a very awkward conversation sometimes happen because, the Russian who are kind of occupying Ukraine, you know what I'm saying? So when I call them home, I try to avoid any conversation about the war and about my friends who right now suffer the war. So that's kind of really, create awkwardness in my family.
Do you have any friends or any family that are currently fighting in the war?
Oh, the great question. Actually, my closest friend in Ukraine, when war started back in 2022, she was so scared, really, because what she heard, she was living in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, and what she heard is a bombing, like the really she has like explosions. So she has a son, one son, and she's a single mom. She was so paranoid. So I told her, listen, you have to jump on a plane and come to the States. She got a tourist visa. So what she did, she just traveled to a different country because there was no planes. You can fly from Kiev to the States. She has to travel to 3 countries before she was boarded on a plane. And then she has to, fly to the States. So she was so shaken, she had a panic attack on a plane. So her son has some issues. So it was a very difficult trip. So when she came in March of 2022, she stayed with me for 6 months. So now she's on her own, she's found a job and she got the paperwork done. And so she's kind of moving with her life. But it was very, very difficult. A lot of our other friends are still staying in Ukraine. So when my best friend who is here went last December to visit her friends, she said, I cannot believe I cannot hear that is bombing sirens that they're going every time they expect bombs come in. There is a siren. So she said, oh my God, I have an anxiety attack when I hear that. But she said, my friends are so used to that. They're not even changing their routine, you know what I'm saying? She said, oh my God, we have to go and hide. But the friend's like, don't worry. You know what I'm saying? So she said, oh my God, that's crazy. So people get used to that, even though how horrific that is.
Do you think you'll ever go and visit there again?
Oh, I absolutely would love to. So perhaps when we all hoping the situation resolves somehow, I hope they're going to find a compromise and some sort of peace, even if there's some territory of Ukraine already captured by Russia, but both sides just want that to be over. So as soon as it's resolved, and I hope it's going to be maybe a year or two, I will definitely go and visit Ukraine. As a matter of fact, I went to visit my dad in Russia a couple of years ago, and honestly, I went during the winter break, and I was like, I'm not sure I will come back because it's so scary to go to Russia, You never know. And I have an American passport, you never know if you're coming back, you know what I mean? Because it's a wild country, and on the government website, the recommendation, do not go there. It's kind of, don't go there. And I was like, I have to go to see my dad. Yeah. So I took a risk, and everything was okay. But I was a little scared going there.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing about Ukraine that you had to leave?
It's really people and cultural. It's like when you come into a different country and settle down, you can learn language, but you really never can absorb this culture completely. So I'm missing my culture because when I came here, there's a lot of shows that you guys watching is your childhood. So it's all grown ups. They remember some kind of shows, TV shows. They remember some stories or some cartoons that I never watched. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So this piece of the culture that half of my life that I missed, in this culture was very difficult to catch up. So I'm missing this Russian-Ukrainian culture right now. Mm-hmm. Sort of, yeah. So that's piece definitely is big loss.
Okay. That's all of our questions.
Thank you so much for.
Oh my God, I enjoyed this so much.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you. Thank you for doing it. This is so impressive. I love that. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
For me, hearing these first-hand perspectives from the people that were just really impacted by this war kind of showed me how extreme it really was for these people.
Yeah, I agreed. This has had so many devastating effects on so many innocent people and civilians on both sides of the war.
I think we've learned a big lesson here about the harsh reality of countless people and the harsh reality that they still live in today.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to the Getting into Good Trouble podcast. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did and learned a little bit more about the war in Ukraine.